Was your mom narcissistic? Was your dad narcissistic? Do you struggle with having this deep desire not to be narcissistic the way that those in your family may have been? Well, I want to share something with you. So again, this video is specifically for parents who are attempting to stop spanking and screaming at their children. So I want to share something with you. Everyone is narcissistic when we are not being our true self. Everyone has the capacity to operate like a narcissist, especially when we are acting from and speaking from the triggered version of ourselves. See, the triggered version of you was created by watching other people and how they acted and the things they did and said when they were triggered, when they were embodying the triggered version of them. So there was a point in your life where you did not hit other people in order to get what you wanted. But as you got older, if you watched your father treat your mom that way, or if you watched your mom treat your father that way, or if you saw that as a common normalized reaction in adults by watching movies and shows, then a triggered version of you that does those things as a reaction and response was created. Another example of how the triggered version of you was created. There was a time in your life where you wouldn't hit kids when you were 11, 12, 13, where you wouldn't think that, like, if a child accidentally spilled some juice, you wouldn't go get a belt and hit them for it, or you wouldn't cuss at them for it, right? But a triggered version of you that does those things started to emerge as you witnessed adults do it. The more you watched your mom or your dad or other people beat you and scream at you and cuss you out when you did certain things, as you witnessed and experienced other people's triggered versions of themselves do these things, then those patterns and habits started to become something that the triggered version of you saw as an option. Now, the thing is, we grow up in a society where we're witnessing more people operate from the triggered version of themselves than we are witnessing people operate from their most powerful and their most wise version of themselves, which is who you truly are when you do not give the triggered version of yourself any power. And you don't give it power by stopping, noticing when that triggered version of yourself is activated and stopping, just stop, okay? It dissolves to the degree that you stop and are aware of it. So let's talk about narcissism real quick. The triggered version of ourselves is narcissistic. Think about it. Narcissism, all about me, right? You're triggering me. Get out my face. I don't want to see you. I don't want to talk to you. You're triggering me. It's just narcissism, right? But that's just how we all are to a degree when we are acting and speaking from the triggered version of ourselves. If my daughter comes into my room in the morning to wake me up and tell me good morning, and I cuss her out and scream at her, I get triggered, and the triggered version of me cusses her out and screams at her. Narcissism, bro. Narcissism. Why am I doing it? I can justify it. I'm doing it because you did this, but really it boils down to you did something that caused me to feel discomfort. Me. And so now because of that, I feel justified in treating you like this, right? Pretty much any time that we act and speak from the triggered version of ourselves, it's narcissism, man. Beating our spouses because they did XYZ, narcissism. You know, spanking our child with a belt or however we do it, because they got a C on their report card. Like, what do we think that is? So I had a parent recently comment on a video and was basically like, she had a narcissistic mother. And a majority of us have narcissism heavily, deeply within our family, because again, all it really is to a degree is, us identifying as the triggered version of ourselves instead of who we truly are, the peace, the love, the bliss, the joy, the compassion, our true nature, right? Wisdom, instead of identifying as what we truly are, right? And acting and speaking from our heart and the awareness that we are all connected with. We're connected with our children. We're connected with all of life. Narcissism manifests when we, see separation. When we're seeing separation, when we're gossiping about others, judging others, putting other people down, when we're physically hurting others, etc., right? So the mother had commented and was like, she noticed those traits within her own mom, as most of us have, and some people in our family. And she said that she didn't want to be the same way with her son. And here's what I'll say to that. If you're watching this video, you are not a narcissist. You are love, and you are a cycle breaker. And your child is very blessed to have you. And the way that you break these cycles, the way that you put a stop to these narcissistic tendencies and these patterns and habits, is to give yourself permission to be aware of them and to stop. When you notice that there is a trigger, when you feel that trigger, stop what you are doing. Stop. So that you can expand your awareness, so that you can be aware of it, and those patterns and habits will dissolve more and more each day. But you have got to practice this, and you've got to know that you're worth the practice. Okay? If you are ready to experience more peace in parenthood, particularly if you are spanking or screaming 1 to 5 times per week, but if you have a strong desire to break that cycle and to start to experience more peace and a stronger connection with yourself and your child, and if you want to be supported in that, then book a call. I am here to support you.